Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Dale Keown Day. We're looking at the Incredible Hulk, his run from the early 90s. This is issue 386, cover dated October 1991. Let's start with the cover and some weird production value things. Still kind of regressing here with the cover to prior issues of the Incredible Hulk with bad production on the cover, bad cropping, cutting off the top of the title here, and Sabra's butt butting on the side of the page here, haha, is clearly not something I think the artist would have done. I'm pretty sure when Dale Keown drew this, there was a bit of negative space here between the edge of the paper or the frame and her butt. So blame Marvel on the production side for kind of messing that one up. Don't know exactly what happened. And also the actual printing is a bit kind of sploogey and bleedy and just not as crisp as it should be. So I don't know if the camera's picking that up properly, but I can see it here. I do appreciate that this is more than likely Dale Keown once again inking himself on the cover. Maybe his signature's been cropped out with that bad crop. I can't find it anywhere, but I definitely see the telltale signs of some of his Pit inking when he's inking himself. When I say Pit, I mean the series that he creates a little after this for Image Comics. And it's a down shot, which I always struggle with, and Dale Keown does a really masterful job at it, so kudos to him. Good cover, not great. I mean, not that much action going on other than Sabra here, but let's have a look inside, see what's going on there. So, nice splash. We've got the Oracle character who's with Pantheon. The Oracle-like character. I don't know if that's her name. I'm not 100% sure. Do appreciate good splash. Dale Keown's pretty good at drawing the ladies. And this parallel line screen tone that he uses here that he's been using all throughout the series. He's been using a few different ones, but this one specifically, I don't know if I've seen many other artists use it except for Dale Keown. He might be the only one that I'm consciously aware of, but I think it works really well. Looks great, and the colors complement it as well. So that's Glynis Oliver who's doing the colors, Peter David the writer, Dale Keown penciler, Mark Farmer inker, and Joe Rosen letter. I'll talk more about Farmer in a little bit. Going through this comic, you'll understand why as I go through it. Little Hitler is the title, very subtle, and what we get is basically a pretty cool, almost double page splash here with just the insert of her reaction to the situation, but what seemed to be some sort of Nazi Renaissance in America, I guess, is what seems to be represented here. So some sort of nightmare future that she's seeing. So I see some signs of it here, so I'll mention again the inker Mark Farmer. There's something he does here where Dale Keown's artwork actually kind of starts to look like Alan Davis, right? Because Mark, I'm going to get those names confused, but Mark Farmer is a long-standing inker for Alan Davis. So there's definitely a kind of, crisper texture, I guess, softer texture that he's adding to Dale Keown's artwork, into the textures and the costumes and the hair and stuff, that to me is definitely very reminiscent of Alan Davis. And obviously, again, Mark Farmer's his long-standing inker, so it makes sense. I'll point out some more examples. So kind of, it's weird where Dale Keown's art is kind of moving away from the John Byrne influence that I kind of saw in the earlier issues, and is because of the inker, which makes sense, you're getting a little bit of an Alan Davis vibe there. This panel here, there's just something kind of cool, maybe dated in 90s to it. It's something about the design that I really like, these parallel lines, right? I think that's cool, and I'll point some more out where Dale Keown does similar stuff like that throughout this issue, where he doesn't, I feel, do it later. It's like he's using more kind of, I don't know, technological looking stuff, or almost as if a machine had done it, and then later on, once he starts inking himself again with Pit and stuff like that, everything really just gets grittier and more organic, which is cool. I really like that style. And maybe also that's because, at that point on Pit, he gets to draw exactly what he wants and probably avoids drawing stuff he doesn't like drawing. I thought this was weird as we went through it here. We've got like a Doc Samson parody, but it's Bart Simpson, obviously. Not very subtle, just a weird decision. I don't know. It's very dated, I guess, very 90s. It's got Doc Samson's, my least favorite costume design for him. Very 90s where they're playing instruments. Now, Dale Keown, I understand, is a musician, played in heavy metal bands and stuff. So I got to say, as a musician myself, all of his instruments here, very accurate, right? Either photo referenced or he just knows about certain specific guitars and basses and stuff, but really well done. Maybe he doesn't know so much about keyboards and keyboard stands. The drums are good as well. So don't want to call it a regression, but we're kind of going backwards with just a little bit more storytelling and a lot more panels on each page. But Dale Keane's definitely keeping it interesting with the basic design and stuff, and the changing panels and moving around. I think he does a pretty interesting job of it with all these small panels. We still get kind of a cool anchor image on this page here. This is what I mean about using that effect again in the background here. That he did on a prior page. And here I feel like, yeah, it's almost like we're getting Alan Davis with a slight John Byrne filter on all these characters here, right? So I'm feeling the Alan Davis with the ladies for sure. And this issue is pretty tame. There's a lot more just kind of, you know, domestic moments with Rick and his band, but still, again, done in a satisfying storytelling manner. Not cheaping on the number of panels and stuff. Keep it bouncy, light, and interesting. I always thought the color's very, very heavy-handedly blue here. This blue is pretty aggressive, if there's such a thing as aggressive blue, if you know anything about color theory. And what colors are supposed to represent. Blue is not supposed to be aggressive, right? Red is, obviously. Like this ship here, shaped like a dildo. Cool kind of anchor shot of the Hulk here. Like I said, here's a good example where you can see more of a softer kind of approach to the hatching and the inking that we're getting from Mark Farmer that, again, reminds us maybe a little bit more of Alan Davis. But then you still get some of the more, what I would definitely term more the Dale Keonisms in the hatching on the edges of the arms or the shoulders. Those are pretty telltale signs of Dale Keown hatching. So yeah, more of a kind of moving the story along kind of issue, right? No big baddie really. I mean, we got the kid, you'll see, but nothing really comes of it. I don't know if these two kids being here kind of reminds me maybe of Alan Davis's Clandestine, and that's also why I'm getting the Alan Davis vibe, because I definitely feel it on this page here. There's just something, I could almost believe that Alan Davis drew this page here and not Dale Keown. Yeah. So finally we get a bit of action here, some movement. So this kid apparently has got powers or something. Again, I don't read these much. I'm not that interested in the storyline, but obviously there's something going on with that kid. Nice shot of Saber coming in here. Looks pretty cool. Why she has a furry cape, I find that's a little odd. I mean, it's an odd choice and an odd texture for a cape to walk around in. Or in this case, fly around in. So we got some conflict between the Hulk and Saber, right? Pretty well laid out. But it feels kind of, again, if I talk about the storytelling, almost as if this is like a slight step back, or maybe like, it almost feels like this was drawn like 8-10 issues ago, rather than like in the sequence that we're seeing it here monthly. It feels like a slight step back. Not in a bad way, but just, yeah. Doesn't feel like we're moving towards the pit stuff like we were before. I don't know if there was some sort of deadline issues maybe with this issue, right? Maybe it does feel, maybe again I'm getting that Alan Davis feel because Mark Farmer did a little more heavy lifting on this issue as far as the finish and the art and stuff. So maybe Dale Keown just threw in some basic thumbnails, but I just don't feel like he put as much effort into the overall action, storytelling, and dynamics that even the backgrounds, right, that he did in just a few prior issues. Even this last kind of page, which, you know, you usually want to end on a punch or something kind of interesting. I mean, it's all right, but definitely not, you know, the best of Dale Keown, you know, and what I would use to show off as that. Not horrible, but just pretty pedestrian. I use that word every once in a while, but that's something that seems to happen with this Hulk run, to me anyways. We get some great issues, and then you get some just not so fun issues. So it's hit or miss with the Hulk as far as the storyline, even with the art to a certain extent, but still enjoying it. We will get, obviously, to the end of it and then hit pit. That's where we're headed. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It really helps out the channel. Those of you who are subscribed, thank you. And everyone out there, have an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.